Hello, this is Tim Cronin, Superintendent for the Decorah Community School District. I'm joined today by Jason Rausch. Jason's our vocal music teacher at the high school. Welcome, Jason.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tim. It's good to be here.
Lots of events this fall. And so maybe recap some of the stuff we've had this fall. I know I want to ask you, very impressed with the variety show, but do you want to take us back to the concerts and activities we've had this fall so far?
Yeah, we've had a very busy fall. Just got back from Ames from Opus Honor Choir Festival with 7 ninth grade students who got to participate in an all-day festival and a concert in CY Stevens there. The conductor this year is interesting. It was Dr. Andrew Last, who's the director of the Nordic Choir at Luther College. So we kind of had a little local connection to that festival this year also. Then we also had the All-State Music Festival that follows the 2 days after Opus, and we had 10 vocal students that were in the chorus, participated for 2 days in rehearsals, and it was just a really awesome festival. The concert was outstanding. You really can tell when a director connects with the choir, and it's a choir of 600 singers. So it's very large. These kids will never sing in a choir that size like that again. But for one person to conduct that group, pull them all together in the Hilton Coliseum, and also have them be musical and sing with great tone it's a pretty impressive feat. So it was the 76th annual. So it's kind of a well-oiled machine down there at Ames, and just really proud of the kids, and they seem to have a great time, and just excited and honored that they got to be part of that festival. And they had to go through an audition back in October on a Saturday down in Independence, and music was super hard this year, and they just tackled it and went for it, and they just really proud of them, of all the hard work they put in, all the growth that they've had since we started that music in August. Going back to August, we had auditions for the variety show. The variety show was just a couple of weeks ago, and we had about 100 students involved in that, and it was just a fun, positive show. What's really unique about it, and why I'm so proud of that show every year, is that the students, the MCs, we call them the MCs, but the acting cast, they write the show. At auditions, kids come with ideas and they write a short script for us, and we consider those ideas and consider those students, and we put together a group. And then they meet with Kristen Underwood, one of the directors, and she is a professional actress that lives in our community and works up at Luther. And she takes them through a writing process. And it's just really impressive that they get to be not only actors taking words off a page and putting them on the stage, but actually writing those words and coming up with the storyline that ties all these random acts together. So just really proud of that process and that format that we get to do every other year.
And I'm gonna jump in, just coming in as an observer and someone who's been at variety shows where we've had like the play in between. I could just tell a difference. I mean, it had been rehearsed. It wasn't an afterthought. It was well acted. Usually in between, no knock on the districts I've been in and got to watch those at, it always kind of felt like it was just like, oh, we're just going to stall for time so we can do a set work. Well, we just need something we need the break in between. And I could follow the story this time of Mr. Frizzle, and helped. I had the context of watching those shows with my children. But yeah, it made sense. So that was kind of neat to see. And then to find out that it wasn't an accident. It was well thought out and planned and choreographed. That was pretty neat. And now, since I've interrupted, we should probably back up. 10 all-state singers that's quite an accomplishment. Hopefully we don't take that for granted, because that's a nice achievement for any district in Iowa, but certainly not even the largest district.
Right, because the all-state auditions, as you probably know, we're talking any size of high school in Iowa. We're all competing for those spots. We're competing with Cedar Rapids School District, the Dubuque School Districts, Linn-Mar, Prairie college community. So yeah, it's tough competition, and the kids have to do the work no matter what school situation they're in. But it is impressive, and I am grateful that these kids take this so seriously. And we do have a tradition here of getting 8 to 15 kids into All-State each year, and it doesn't happen by accident. It is their hard work. Like I said, starting in August, we have afternoon rehearsals, 6 or so of those before school even starts, and then I had to put them into quartets, and then we start working in quartets together. It's a cool process, but it is how well they work together in that quartet. But they have to individually be ready to go on it too, and in order for the group to be successful. And it's not that the whole group gets selected. It could be only the soprano and the alto, tenor, bass don't get selected. It could be the alto is selected, and the tenor is recalled, and the bass is recalled, and the soprano doesn't get anything. It's a very interesting, unique process to Iowa. But I think there's so much learning that happens during that too. So just grateful, of course, for all that they do.
Yeah.
And it really starts in our middle school with Mr. Beckman, and getting them so successful through Opus, through that process, which is an individual process. But they get some success there. They get some extra practice outside of the school day in preparing for those auditions. And even if one doesn't make auditions in Opus or All-State, they are learning great skills, and that's what we're here doing.
And absolutely. So awesome on the All-State. And then I guess we were talking about variety show, and I kind of said to you after the show, my folks were in town, so we all went over, and very impressed with the talent of the young people of Decorah, and as Decorah graduates. They kind of said, well, it wasn't this good when we were here. But also a wonderful space that we have, that our auditorium is, I've said that with the other folks, just a great space. But I personally really appreciated the Hamilton medley that we had, and maybe that was a new thing. But variety show, I have a talent. I can audition, and it could potentially be. It's not ever the same show, but like we're looking for performances.
Yeah, kids come, and it's one of the most fun things I get to do are those auditions when they come, because you never know what's coming. You're going to see a dance. You're going to see an instrumental solo. You're going to see an a cappella group singing some pop song. It's just all over the place, and it's great because the kids are choosing things that are meaningful and to them, and they're passionate about what they're offering. So it's an insight. It's a cool. It's insightful into who these kids are, and what they are passionate about, and what they're doing outside of the school day, and putting their time into.
Very good. Very good. So I kind of had to interrupt your train of thought there. I think we were talking about variety show. We've talked about All-State. We talked about Opus. Other things we've had this fall.
Yeah, we had our fall concert back in October, and it's just fun to see what the kids can do a couple months into the school year. It's very informative to me. I always like having that fall concert, and I actually like having it over. And I say that in a positive way, because I kind of know what the group, what they are capable of that time, and it helps me kind of plan then for our December concert, which is coming up in a few weeks. But each ninth grade group is totally different. We're combining St. Ben's students with the Decorah Middle School students, and the voices are in flux, or they're changing, and so we just try some things, and then I just have more information to base off decisions curricularly as we move into our second quarter of the school year. And it's really like that for all the choirs, but the ninth grade especially is where I'm just kind of conservative on what I'm choosing for them, and just so that they could have some success and start building some skills as a high school singer. But it was a successful concert, and I'm again proud of what they're doing. We also, actually, I forgot to mention, we had a special concert in October with the concert choir. They joined with the Luther College Nordic Choir and the Decorah Chorale Community Choir. And it was the first time we had done this. We had that up at the CFL at Luther College. And we also took a free will offering that benefited the Decorah Food Pantry. I think we raised over $3,600 for the good work that the food pantry is doing with lots of folks having some food insecurity. And over the last year, that has grown quite a bit from what I understand from them. So it was good to do a concert together, sing together, but also do something positive for our community. So I'm grateful for the kids. And the kids even said the day after the concert, they're like, I'm really glad we did that. That was really worthwhile. And they felt a connection and to the community in various musical reasons and otherwise. So it's good to be involved in our community and give back.
And speaking of being involved in the community, part of the Veterans Day assembly, that was wonderful as well.
Yes, thank you. I so glad, because we had 2 years where we weren't able to do it live and in person. So it was great to be back again and again give back to our community, to our celebrate our veterans that we have here in Decorah.
And I'm trying to think, was that a medley that we performed for the veterans? Do I have that right?
The band did a medley.
Okay, the band.
They all stood up on their song from their branch.
Oh, that's right.
We did the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Okay, and that was okay. And that wasn't, maybe did the middle, well, I'm confusing myself here.
Yes.
Middle school do a vocal.
They did.
Battle Hymn. I thought I heard that song twice that day in different formats.
Yep.
Okay. So looking ahead, if we want to do a little, well, wait a minute, before we look ahead, I needed to just tell me a little bit about your history, how you got to Decorah, how long you've been here, all that good stuff. Because I should have started with that.
That's okay. This is actually my 16th year in Decorah. It was kind of a coming home, so to speak. I went to Luther College, graduated in the late 90s, and never really had aspirations to come back to Decorah, but I taught for 7 years at Solon High School by Iowa City, and I left that job to go to graduate school at the University of Iowa to get my master's in choral conducting. Coming out of that program, the Decorah job was open, and I thought, wow, okay, Decorah is an amazing place. I think I should look into this. Well, here I landed. And, I think sometimes fate just takes you where you need to be. And I'm very grateful to be here in this community. Of course, it's a very supportive community for education, but also for the arts, for music, and having Luther College up the street and having friends that teach up there. It's just been a really, really positive place to be. And my husband and I, he's now the general manager at the Oneota Food Co-op. So he's been there the whole time we've been here in different positions. So we just kind of found our place and found a place that we can use our passions to be a positive force in the community, I guess.
Well, I didn't know your history in Solon. Now we'll have to break down all our Solon connections as well. I feel like there's a lot of so I would have graduated from Luther a few years before you, but I think a lot of folks in music graduated in the late 90s. My Jason Levenhagen, the vocal person at Central City, but there's also a couple other folks that I know. But yeah. So the Linderbaums in Solon, that would be my dad's sister, and I think probably a lady by the name of Linda Linderbaum was.
Yeah, I sure do know her, and I taught with Mr. Linderbaum too my first few years before he retired.
Okay, all right. Well, that's probably, we don't need to record that history of life, but that's interesting. And it's amazing. And folks who go to Luther who are trying to figure out whether they're from Decorah or not, to aspire, myself included, to try to figure out a way to come back and live in Decorah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I grew up in Eastern Iowa, so I haven't gone too far. I grew up in Cascade. So it's kind of nice to be still by family.
sure. So looking ahead, as the next concert looks like I've got a vocal music concert for high school, 7:30 on the 19th of December.
Yeah, and you probably don't know this, but at that concert, the alumni come back that have sung through the program here at the high school. I started a tradition back in my early days of singing the Hallelujah chorus, and so we'll have 50, 60, 70 recent graduates that'll come back and they'll join us on stage to sing the Hallelujah chorus. It's super fun to see all those faces and get that big sound coming at me and the audience as all those voices are together. Yeah, so it's a special concert that way because we have a lot of graduates there in attendance watching.
Okay, that's good. For a split second, I thought you were to say something like the superintendent had a solo, and I was gonna start my my being sick work. So yeah, the Mondays in December are band, orchestra, and then vocal. So that's neat to know.
Yeah.
Other stuff that to look forward to this winter.
Well, we just started the Madrigal Singers. We just had auditions for those, and I have 19 that are in that ensemble. And coming up throughout December, we're doing caroling, in the community. We'll be at the Vesterheim Christmas on December 3rd and caroling at the Decorah Chorale concert and before the winter concert. But beyond the caroling that those kids are doing this month, in January on the 29th, we have our performing arts showcase dinner. We started rotating a few years ago we used to do a magical dinner every year, and just kind of wanted to change things up a little bit and try something different. So we came up with this performing arts showcase dinner, still the last Sunday in January at 5:00 in the high school cafeteria. It'll be a full catered meal, but the music selections that will be performed will be all pop music or Broadway music or jazz. We also might have some other groups that'll be featured with us too. We do have another singer group that is just starting up now too that will perform, but we've had in the past some musical theater groups from large group speech, and maybe even a few soloists might join us too. So we're just kind of putting that all together right now, but it'll be a fun evening of pop and Broadway and maybe some jazz from the high school students.
Awesome. I know my wife and I were both super impressed with the Harvest Moon dinner and concert. Didn't feel like we were in the cafeteria at all, with great music and wonderful food. And so I'm going to get that one on the calendar and make sure not to miss that one. So, yeah. So winter concert, we're not calling it Madrigal Dinner. What's our title for the
Performing Arts Showcase Dinner? Because
okay.
we're kind of involving some other groups besides just singing groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other stuff this winter or spring that we've got coming up.
Yeah, in December, we're able to go back to start singing in some nursing homes again. So I'll take each of the curricular choirs during class to our local care centers and retirement areas to do some singing for them. They've been reaching out to me, so really excited because it's been a couple of years since we've been able to safely do that. So we're going to get going with that again, and really excited to get the kids out and interacting with some of these folks in these care centers. I know it brings a lot of joy to the residents, but it also brings a lot of joy to our students too, to get to interact with these important people in our community.
That's great. All right. Is there other stuff that I need that you think should have on my radar, or you want to talk about?
I mean, I think it's for the, for second semester, it's just some more concerts and our conference music festival that we will go down to Waverly for that with some students. And we have a music festival up at Luther that the students will go to in January. We spend a lot of time as we get into February and March preparing for solo and state solo and small ensemble festival. We usually have a majority of our music students at the high school that participate in that, putting solos together, putting duets, octets, some chamber choirs. It's a really cool experience. I'm not sure where we're traveling for that this year for the state festival, but a week beforehand, I bring in some local music professors and music educators to come in and hear all the students over 2 nights in March. We call it the vocal clinic, and they get to be clinicked in front of a small audience of family and friends that are at that. So it's a really unique performing opportunity and learning experience before they go to state where they get a rating. So that's something that people can attend in March if they would like to do that.
Okay, very good. Well, maybe I'll wrap up here. Just kind of last question for you, not necessarily music related, but Jason Rausch related. Fun fact about yourself and or what you like to do in Decorah.
Well, a fun fact is I grew up on a dairy farm. I was working every morning before school and every evening after school, feeding cattle,
Holstein?
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so most people assume I'm maybe not a farm kid, but I actually was very much a farm kid growing up, and really value that time that I had on the farm growing up. Though maybe it wasn't the thing that was most natural to me. I did it. I love driving tractors. I love being out making hay out in the field, and doing that whole thing. So I think people would be surprised that I'm actually a kid who grew up on a farm, very much involved.
Green or red?
We were red.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Yeah, you're either one or the other, unless you're my father-in-law who worked at Deere's for his whole life and then restored a couple farmhouse that he had.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I don't understand how he can have both green and red. And she goes, oh, he just likes tractors. It's like, no, you have to like a certain color. You can't.
Yep. Farmall International, Case International. That's what we had.
Okay.
My parents still live on the farm too.
What's that now? I
said my parents still live on the farm there too, but my brother now runs it, and it's just like raising cattle, no milking, but
okay.
Yeah. So that was me.
So do they call on you on breaks to help out, or?
No, they don't. I haven't driven a tractor and it's probably been 20 years, but I really did enjoy it. I love the piece of being out in the field. I could just zone out.
Okay.
Do my work.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And thanks for your time today. And we'll look forward to on the near future, the winter concert, but definitely the event formerly known as the Madrigal Dinner.
Yep. Yep.
The last Sunday in January, and I'll start working on memorizing the title.
That's all right.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Thank you.